to episode 2 of the Rainbow Turtle Fair Trade podcast. In this episode, we'll hear from some people who've reacted to problems in the world around them and decided to become part of the solution. Let's start with the staff and pupils of St James's Primary in Renfrew.
Primary 4 would like to welcome you to our afternoon tea party. We hope you have a lovely time and learn something new about fair trade. Enjoy your entertainment and food. We are the world, we have a vision that's here to stay. We are the voice, we are the ones who support fair trade. Wake up the world, tell every boy and girl that together we're one. 'Cause we are the world.
Next report, all right? You're just okay.
My name is Colum. I'm helping with the fair trade stalls. I'm selling stuff for the people that have came.
What are you selling? What have you got on your fair trade stall?
Cookies, a fruit salad, Kit Kats, chocolate milk, buttons, Maltesers and some scones.
Good. And you've got some jam there as well for the scones and some cream as well, yeah? Do you get to eat lots of the things as well, or have you got to wait?
Yes, I have to wait
You have to wait until you're finished. Well, you're doing a good job, Connor. Thank you very much, all right? Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ellie.
Hi, my name's Abby.
Hi, my name's Erin. We've been learning about fair trade.
Okay. What can you tell me about fair trade?
We've got some facts in the book that everybody in their class made, and we just put it all together. Fair trade products come from over 70 different countries, all around the world. The Fair Trade Foundation makes sure that all their products come from farms and factories with fair working conditions.
When you buy something with a fair trade logo on it, you know that a fair amount of the money is going towards helping the community where it came from. This extra money is usually put into things that can help the local community, like new wells to provide water.
Hello, my name is Connor. Did you know Old Divine Chocolate is the only chocolate company in the world to be fully owned by farmers?
That's great. Well done. All right, thanks, guys. Have you had fun today?
Yes.
Yeah. The Rainbow Turtle shop supplies many groups and organisations, especially schools, with fair trade products. One of the people that makes that all possible is our very own Jordan.
My name is Jordan and I am a warehouse and retail assistant here at Rainbow Turtle, and my responsibility is to help keep Paisley topped up with fair trade goods. My favourite fair trade product is Divine Toffee and Sea Salt Chocolate.
How long have you been working for Rainbow Turtle?
I have been with Rainbow Turtle, this is my second year now. I started not last year but the year before. Is that me? You can edit that out surely, can you?
Yeah.
You're going to take this off alright. I hate you, Josh. I hate you. That's 3 squares that I'm doing.
We'll have more from Jordan in a future episode. Now we're off to Red's Cafe in Paisley, where, like Rainbow Turtle, Ken and Margaret have been supporting and promoting fair trade for over 13 years. Ken took some time out one afternoon and invited us over to cook for us.
The three amigos, sage, rosemary, thyme. Don't make me laugh.
No,
Don't make me laugh. So today we're going to make a stew, which is not quite a soup, it's not quite a stew. So the ingredients: white onion, garlic, ginger, chili flakes, fresh chili, some fair trade honey, some pumpkin and organic apples from my garden, some local kale, sage, thyme and rosemary. Fair trade apple juice, a good aged cider and coconut milk. We'll cook the stew and then we're going to caramelise some fair trade pineapple and banana, add some fair trade chocolate, and we're going to serve that on a little brioche bun. Fair trade scones we have in the shop every day with fair trade components, and today's we'll have fair trade espresso, fair trade chocolate, fair trade chilli, and we'll get those on the go quite soon. So we'll switch this on. So we're just adding a little bit of olive oil, add our onion, the fresh chilli, and we'll just let that cook away. So we've got the onion and the garlic frying away. I'm just going to add the fair trade powdered ginger, sage, rosemary and thyme. And you can see that's just starting to catch with the ginger. So add the garlic, and then I'm going to add the fair trade coconut milk. We've roasted pumpkin and butternut squash in the oven, not quite cooked, and we'll finish them off in the sauce. And then we need to let that reduce. While we're doing that, I'm going to crack on with the scones. It's a family recipe. If anybody wants to know what the recipe is, they can pick it up at Rainbow Turtle or in the shop, and we'll be quite happy to share it.
Fair trade only exists because of long-term supporters like Ken and Margaret. So I asked Ken why Reds had been so committed.
I came back from a post overseas in 2000. I was involved in quality and logistics for an airline catering company. So that kind of opened my eyes back in 1989. I was posted to Dhaka in Bangladesh, to levels of poverty, I suppose, that you just wouldn't see in this country. I think it's important to support fair trade, but you have to have the motivation. And my motivation comes from seeing firsthand levels of poverty that can be resolved through a fair price.
We'll be back with Ken and his stoop shortly, but now we're off to one of our primary school events where we invited Trev Gregory from ethical skincare company Carishea. He told us first of all about the work they do with women in Ghana.
Good morning. Now, I went to Ghana just a few years ago, and I discovered something and set something up that I want to tell you about today. Is anybody here about 7 years old, by the way? 7? 8? How old are you? 9. Okay, you're a bit old, all right? If you were about 7 years old and your parents had no money, somebody would come knocking on your door and say, we know you don't have any money, but we'll give you £100 and we will take your child and they're going to work for us for a little bit. And so they do. 12,000 children go missing in this one part of Ghana, right in the north of the country, every year, because their parents can't afford them. They're sold into what's called slavery. Now, who likes chocolate? Who likes ice cream? Yeah! Who just wants to live off chocolate and ice cream? I mean, that would just be heaven, wouldn't it? In an ice cream, to preserve the ice cream so it can last longer, they put vegetable fat. And about 6% of an ice cream is vegetable fat. Now, that vegetable fat, under the law, doesn't have to be named. So it could be anything, as long as it's a vegetable fat. But 95% of that vegetable fat is from a fat from a tree in Ghana called shea butter. Now, how many of you are wearing lipstick? No one. How many of your mums wear lipstick? Ah, that's good. When people put lipstick on, they're actually putting fat on their lips. It's coloured fat, all right? But in actual fact, 50% of a lipstick is from this fat called shea butter. Shea butter comes from Ghana. It's a very, very unusual tree. in that it only grows in 11 countries across Africa. It only grows wild, and about 16 million women pick shea nuts in those countries across Africa. And what we did was we helped these 20 villages to work together, and we traded shea nuts. And then what we did, we went back and we said, now let's train the women to turn the shea nuts into shea butter. And so we've now got around about 1,000 women in 20 villages that are making shea butter. And that means they've got an income all the year round. You see, this area of Ghana where we're working, the schools are so poor that in order to go to school, you have to be able to afford your own chair. Most children will carry their chair to school every day. If you were to go to the hospital in this part of Ghana, you can't just get medical attention without your mum and dad paying for it. So if you have no work, you can't go to school. If you have no work, then you can't go to the hospital for medicine. And so these people are living a really hard life. Now, because we've given these women work, children aren't being sold. In actual fact, because we're giving them work, the number of children going into slavery has reduced because they don't need to do it. So all of that from shea butter.
Now, from one of the youngest fair trade pioneers to one of the oldest and longest standing, Traidcraft have been around since the late 1970s and have been at the heart of ethical and fair trading ever since. I went down to Gateshead to find out more about what they do and how it all started.
It's Gateshead on the green and yellow line, is that right?
Yes, it's just the metro system, so it's just where the yellow signs are.
Okay.
And it's down the stairs, it's 2 stops to Gateshead.
Okay, lovely, excellent.
Jane Riley, and I'm the Supported Development Manager at Traidcraft, which basically means that I look after the network of communities that sell on Traidcraft's products. So me and the team look after the ones that we've already got, and then we try to get other people to join us. So, I don't know if you know, but Traidcraft started, it was a group of students who were based at Durham University. In the 70s there was a war in Bangladesh, and what they realised, this group of students, was that there was aid planes going out to Bangladesh but coming back empty. So the idea was born by a guy called Richard Adams, who then became the Traidcraft founder, that they should try and make contact with people in Bangladesh to see whether there was anything at all that could be brought back to the UK in the empty planes that could be sold. But the idea was these products were then sold, and they were sold in the church community, and that's how it started. And so Traidcraft was born out of that, and where it gets its name from is that the aid is in the trade, not in just aid, so it's a more sustainable way of living. So we started with crafts, and then over the years it's developed, and food now is the bigger thing for us. So food is probably about 75% of what we do.
I then met with Tessa Bees, who gave me a tour of the warehouse as it got prepared for Christmas.
This is to do with the craft side of the business. So when we're working with our producers, we're sort of working with forecasting trends and what's been popular for selling things, and we work with them to produce new products. So they'll be sending samples, like for this beautiful kind of Middle East type dish. We would say, yes, we love the shape of it, but the colours, could we do something a bit different? So there'd be a bit of toing and froing on that, getting the products right, getting the price of them right as well. And then at some point there'll be a sort of point of selection for the next catalogue. So this sort of what you see in front of me, which is this hugely colourful, quite chaotic and messy, isn't it? But beautiful. This would be perhaps for the spring next year and even autumn next year, pulling together products, trying to work out what will sell, what will meet quality standards, because UK quality standards are really high. So yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise you did that kind of, they send kind of a sample.
Yeah, we have a real dialogue with the producers, and staff will go out there as well and work with them and explain to them what the UK market is like. So it can be really hard for them to understand how fickle the market is here and how demanding we are. So we do a lot of work with them to get them to the point where they can produce a product that we would be able to sell. So I'm going to take you up to our customer services team. So this is kind of...
I spoke too to Caroline Hardacre, the Schools and Fair Trader Coordinator.
I think it's older generations that were introduced to it quite suddenly in maybe the 70s or so. I mean, Traidcraft started in 79. And so to them, it might have been a bit more of a revelation, and they can think, so people don't get paid fairly. Like, this is awful. But for us, it's just always been an awareness. And hopefully for young people now, it'll be even more so like that, because one of the big reasons that we do so much, and it's probably the same with you, for young people, is because they are the people who are going to make all the decisions later. They're going to build the world. And if they know about it and just accept that you need to pay properly and people need to live a proper life, then it could go off in all sorts of directions. And I think that maybe is what happened to our generation as well.
Now, alongside organisations like Traidcraft and ourselves, Rainbow Turtle, is a whole network of volunteers. Without these people, it's sad to say that fair and ethical trading simply wouldn't exist. Here's our volunteer and trustee, Colum Scriven, with this episode's Did You Know?
We've already heard about Carishea and the shea butter coming out of Ghana. But did you know that one of Ghana's major imports is electronic waste, or e-waste? This is made up of the phones, laptops, computers, tablets, TVs, radios, and other various electronic products that get thrown away by millions of us around the world. In total, 40 million tons worth. In Ghana's capital, Accra, there are hundreds of people recycling, reusing, and adapting the electronic goods we've chucked away or replaced with newer, shinier models. It's often very dangerous to extract and take out the valuable parts and materials that make up the e-waste. There's a real problem too when things are just too old or past it to be reused or recycled. When that's the case, what's left over simply ends up in the ground, and this causes huge environmental damage, polluting drinking water, killing wildlife, and even leaving local people with high levels of lead in their blood. Not only this, but it goes against an international agreement called the Basel Convention. This was designed to stop hazardous wastes being transported from one country to another, including broken electronic products. But it's expensive and dangerous to dispose of e-waste, so the so-called developed countries prefer to send theirs elsewhere. In the face of all this, there are some inspiring individuals and groups of people working out how to tackle the enormous problem. One example is in the organisation Fair Trade Recycling, who was set up to recycle e-waste and to provide greater protection for the people working in the slums and landfill sites. It's perhaps too easy to forget that though they may be miles away, we share the same air, the same water, the same planet, and the same future. You can find out much more about this issue and find inspiration too from the people of Accra by visiting the podcast pages of our website. Go to rainbowturtle.org.uk. In a future episode of the podcast, we'll be focusing on waste and looking at how people around the world are tackling the problem creatively, providing much needed work and income for themselves and their families as a result. To make sure you don't miss it, subscribe to our podcast now.
You can see some amazing pictures and videos of Accra by following the link on our website. Now, let's check up on Ken's stoop.
I'm going to add some Guatemalan fair trade honey. I'm going to add in some aged cider at this point, and a little splash of fair trade apple juice. And while that's reducing, I am going to carry on with the scones. So I'm going to...
I asked Ken how they'd made fair trade part of what they do every day.
We have a loyal following who have been coming for the last 13 years, and they're all aware of our commitment. Tea and coffee we've been doing since the very beginning. But in addition to that, we've always produced menu items. Today we had 3 soups, 2 of them are fair trade components, and we always have fair trade cakes on the go. Simple enough, I mean, it's not rocket science. If you're using chocolate, make it fair trade. If you're using coconut milk, desiccated coconut, pick up a fair trade packet. So back to the stoop, and we're almost there. Add the apple towards the end. You want it to have a bit of bite. Very definite Scottish touch. We're just going to fire some kale in there, let that cook away. And then just to finish off, we're going to add some fair trade long grain rice. Picked that up on Saturday from Rainbow Turtle. Doesn't that look amazing? Give it a wee taste. It's not bad. Oh, it's not bad. You're going to love that. Make sure you get a bit of apple.
Okay, that's amazing. That's
Well, the apple just came out of the garden an hour ago. It's not bad. Do you want to have a wee try?
In the 13 years Ken and Margaret have been running Red's Cafe and Catering, by simply including fair trade products in what they do, they will have helped build schools, roads, supply ambulances, healthcare and running water, and they will have supported producers and farmers all over the world, not through pity or aid, but by simply choosing to support trade that doesn't exploit people. And that's what fair, ethical trading is all about, showing that there's an alternative to unfair trade. And in the next episode, we're going to look at unfair trade to help us understand the problems, issues and obstacles fair and ethical trading tries to overcome. But now, here's Ken telling us about their plans for the future.
But the catering has really grown significantly in the last few years, and for that reason we've decided to close the cafe, sadly, on the 31st of December this year. But we're not disappearing. We're taking new premises on for catering only. 2 people, 2 pies, 2 soups, 2 stoops, up to a wedding or an event for 2,000 people. Pretty much everything in between. I mean, it's been quite a journey. In the last 13 years, we've catered some major clients. We catered for Charles and Camilla, fair trade tea and coffee. We've catered for the Crown Prince of Thailand. Well, the Crown Prince of Thailand wasn't actually in Reds. We catered to him on the apron at Glasgow Airport, and apparently his very favourite was the haggis bonbons with fair trade sweet chilli sauce. Who'd have thought it? We want everybody to keep in touch. We'll have a new website, new branding, and I'm sure we'll go from strength to strength.
And at Rainbow Turtle, we look forward to collaborating with Reds in the future. Now, let's take a final trip back to Trev Gregory of Carishea. This time, he tells us how the women in Ghana are connected to the men in Greenock.
In Greenock, we set up a project alongside Greenock Prison. We take prisoners and we take recovering addicts and we give them real work. We pay them a wage and we train them to make products with the shea butter that the women have made in Ghana. What we do is we make them, we sell them, and then we're taking money back to Ghana where we're building a school. We're taking women out in Ghana and we're giving them a good wage. We're taking men, recovering addicts and people out of prison in Greenock and giving them skills to put their lives back together. They're making something, they're selling it, and they're trading fairly with each other along the way and helping each other get back into life. Poverty isn't about lack of money, it's about lack of opportunities, a lack of choices. When you have nothing, your choices are limited. The expectation of someone coming out of prison is that they will commit another crime. The expectation of a recovering addict is that they will go back into either drug addiction or alcoholism. If we give them more choices, chances are they won't. In Ghana, the choices of these women are starve or sell a child. By having a regular income, their choices increase. That child has a future. What are they going to do? What do they want to be when they grow up? Before, they didn't have a choice. Now, because they're in school, they have a choice. And they can go on to do all sorts of things.
We are the ones, we have the
And that's the end of episode 2. If you'd like to be part of the podcast, you can get in touch through our website, rainbowturtle.org.uk, where you can find out lots more about what we do, as well as everything we've covered in this episode. Very soon we'll be releasing shorter podcasts and full interviews too, so subscribe or check back regularly on our website. Thanks to Jordan, Ross and Colum, Trev and Denise Gregory of Carishea, plus all the schools who came to our Ghana to Greenock event, Ken, Margaret and the Reds family, to local musician Clarke Mooney, to all the staff and pupils at St James's Primary in Renfrew, and also to everyone at Traidcraft. We'll hear much more from them in episode 3, which will be out just before Christmas. And, talking of Christmas, you can have a slave labour-free festive season by visiting our online shop or our real one in Paisley, where, amongst other things, you'll find a range of Carishea skincare products and hundreds from Traidcraft too. And on your way home, you can stop off at Red's for a stoop. From me, Josh Brown, thanks for listening.
Rainbow Turtle, putting in the day's dag to make rich trade a scoosh for everybody.